Alright, I've done this bit retrospectively. I'd already taken the unit out, done a little video and put it back in, and then tried to take it out again, and it was quite difficult because I didn't have the right tools. I've tried it again with Allen keys that are a bit bigger. It seemed to work, but it was very fiddly, very hard. Even when I was levering it underneath, which you'll see later, it still, even when it was loose, didn't come out. So look, it's best if you get the right tools or the things that fit these holes properly. I'm just going to show you how these clips work. Best if you get, like I said, get the right tools, but when they're in, slide in there, and you're basically bending that in. Now, if you've got the right size tool, I think it forces past there and forces the clip in automatically, but anyway, that's what I did to get them out. But very fiddly. Get the right tools, it'd be 100 times better than doing it with little coat hangers, which I started with the first time I did it, because I don't know how I did it actually, because you do it and it slips off and you get in too far and it doesn't lever it enough, it bends too much. So get the right tool and it would be a very easy job. Okay, I've lost my light, so I'm doing this with an iPhone. Basically, I'm having trouble with my HVAC system. The air conditioning doesn't work when I push buttons. Like, that should be flat out full air, I believe, and it kicks in eventually, then kicks out again, kicks in a bit. Low fan, I'm not sure. Fan works most of the time. It kicks in eventually. Once again, it takes a while to get going. Heater works, which is good, but it's coming into summer, and I want to make sure I've got air conditioning. It could be gas, the reason why it's not actually blowing, but I know with this system there's fans at the front, fans at the back, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. I know there's a little cooler unit, little fan in here that gets done with dust, it makes noise, which is behind this thing here, so I'm going to take that out and give that a clean. Just going to do one bit at a time and troubleshoot the whole system. I've already troubleshooted and found out that the low voltage resistors on my oil cooling fan and air conditioning fan don't work, which I'll add in another video how I tested those. And I've heard that if the low resistor on the cooling fan, if that goes, then it can, I don't know, add pressure to the air conditioning system or some crap. I don't know why. And you can get leakage, or it can force it to leak. So I'm hopefully going to fix those up and then get it regassed and see if it all works. But at the moment, I'm just taking this out. So I basically just use coat hangers, cut a coat hanger out. I've seen people use screwdrivers, use a proper removal tool, chucked one in this side first, because there's only one of me, and I could feel the clip. I just applied a bit of pressure to the left, I believe, to release it, and then I got a big screwdriver like this, big banger under here, and I got behind the unit and just levered it out. So one hand on the tools and one hand on levering it out, and got that side out first, and then did the same to the other side. Was fiddly and tricky, but wasn't hard. Just a pain in the ass, really, to be honest. But it slid out. So once it gets out, we can have a look at the tools. When I'm trying to grab it out too, I'm hitting this thing here. I've seen other videos in left-hand drive cars where they've got their hand underneath and pushed it out, and they've also slid it past this lever. Okay, so in the end, I literally pulled this lever up, pulled it high beam back, and forced it past. It was a bit, not exactly what I wanted to do, but I googled trying to remove it. It was too hard, so I didn't bother. Anyway, it's out, and I saw someone else say that that's what they did, so that's what I've done. It's out. It's very dusty. So we'll give it a clean, and I don't know, one step at a time. So I can't get the unit any further than that, and I've heard the wires are sometimes zip tied behind it, which stops it coming out. So I'm going to get under there and give it a little see if I can find a zip tie and cut it and pull it out. Okay, so under the footwell, looks like there's a zip tie just here. But if I cut that, it should give me enough space to get the unit out. So I'm just going to cut that and come back. Okay, so I've cut that zip tie, and let's see if we can get some more movement here. Definitely a little bit more movement, which is good. So I'm going to try to start pulling that apart and see how we go. Okay, so there is a clip here somewhere that you push in. Let's have a look. Okay, so I'm going to push that in and rotate that out. So there's a clip just here that pushes in and then it rotates out, like a clock face, or, you know, clock rotates it. Don't pull it straight out, rotate it out. I'm just going to give that a go. Okay, so I've got those clips off. You can see this end here's got a little hook on it, and so therefore that's hooked up under a latch. So you've got to like pretty much like spin them out like that. And for this one, the opposite. It's got a hook on the other end, so that basically spun out clockwise. This is the unit here. Looks like it's a bit bent. Don't think I did that. It was already like that. I'm not sure. It doesn't look really straight. It's got a bit of a thing on it, so I might try to clean and fix it up a bit. And it looks a bit manky. That'll be the first stage of. Looks like a bit bent there. Don't know. Someone's been into this before, I think so. That doesn't even look flush, that back plate level. Anyway, we'll give it a bit of a look at it and see what's going on. So just having a quick look on the table. It says Japan here. We know whether this is a aftermarket fan. It can be. I know you can buy other model ones and modify them slightly to fit. Like a Jaguar one I think fits or something like that. So maybe that's been modded. So I'm just going to undo some bolts here. Undo that. Undo the one over here. Unclip it. And then we'll get to the unit itself. Little fan itself. So I finally got that. Well, not finally, just undo those bolts. Took them off. Unplugged it. There was a little washer, split washer, whatever they're called, crush washer, I'm not sure what they're called, but underneath them. And so I'm going to have a look at this rubber tube and make sure there's nothing sort of stuck in there that would hinder any airflow or temperature sensing or whatever it does. So we'll give that a look at and make sure there's nothing in there, and then we'll take this apart and give this a bit of a clean, because it's making a little bit of a clicky noise, which they can do when they get dirty, so we're going to give that a clean up. Just going to unscrew these things here. Okay, just got to take these screws out. I've got some nuts that are held in there just to hold them in. So just going to undo those. Got a split washer there by the looks of it. Pull it apart and see what it looks like. Okay, so they're loose. So it's going to basically take off this top bracket. Place that there. And then I'm going to make sure I don't lose these little nuts. So I'm just going to get them out onto the table. Then we'll pull this thing apart and see what it looks like. So I've given it a dust and a clean. It wasn't too bad. There's a little bit in there. Might get that bit out. Then I'll just put it back together. I've seen people put grease on these, but I don't think it requires any grease. If you ask me, it's just a little electric motor that spins, so I'm not going to grease it up. If anything, I reckon that'll just clog up after time with a bit of dust, and just run by a magnet, spins it. So I'll put it back together, and I don't think that's the problem of my HVAC issues, but anyway, it's a bit cleaner than what it was. So that's all back together. I could have gone into more detail with taking it apart, but it was pretty easy. I've left it bent because maybe it goes into the car easier bent. I don't know. I don't want to straighten and then have to bend it again. It still works. The rubber connection here is all tight, so should be fine. Took a bit of dust out of it, but nothing too major. So I don't think that's any issues with my HVAC. So we'll get it back in and give it a quick test, and then that'll do. It took a long time to get one of those clips back in at the back on the back of this unit. I don't know why. I put a bit of lubricant on it and helped it, and eventually it got in. So patience. It was the lower clip. I think that thing is bent to the back because someone's tried to get it out before, and it's the only way they could get it out. So just testing the controls. It seems like the car's not on. Like it sort of is, but it seems to be working better. The defrost, now if anyone has theirs that work differently to this, let me know, but the defrost seems to work. So it's blowing hot air, or air out the top. Not full bore, but it's blowing it out the top. Don't know whether it's meant to be full bore, but it's, it's blowing out the top. This button was intermittent when I turned it on, it used to sometimes blow full, sometimes not blow full, but the 3 times that I've done it since I've done this, seems to be blowing full air. So whether it's because I've taken these clips in and out, and maybe some of them were corroded a bit or something and needed a bit of a scratch or something to get them connected again, I don't know, but that is working heaps better. So anyway, pretty happy with that outcome. There didn't seem anything really wrong with the unit. That was all pretty clear in there. There's a little bit in there, but not much dust. And all these controls seem to be working. So next will be to check the low resistant, the resistances, resistors in the front cooling and oil cooling fan, because they're a bit funny, I'm pretty sure, so I'll test them next. But anyway, that's a very poor video on taking this banger out and giving it a quick clean. Thanks. One more weird thing. Once I touched my HVAC is my alarm used to double flash, which means there was an error when it was locking. It's still alarmed, but there was an issue. And now that I've taken the HVAC out and put it back in again, it's single flushing, which I think is a correct signal from the alarm system. So, don't know. HVAC has nothing to do with it. It is near the radio, but I've already diagnosed the radio. Don't know why, but problem solved on that one, apparently. Even though, don't know. All right.